Welcome to this video, friends. It has been a little while since my last update, and I thought that we would sort of welcome this December together. I think the Southern Hemisphere often gets forgotten when it comes to the Christmas season or the festive season. I'm not a huge Christmaser myself, but it's always nice to be included when in the Southern Hemisphere over here it is summer. So while everyone else, that you see online is all cozying up and has winter sweaters and Christmas cozy blankets and stuff, we're over here eating ice cream and putting the aircon on. So there's a few things that I did want to do to just have a little bit more of a festive vibe. For example, this bookshelf behind me, it's still a little bit Halloween-y. I've still got my Pride and Prejudice and Zombies up here. So we need to change that up a little bit, make it a little bit more festive. I don't have any Christmas books, but I thought I would just change sort of color theme, that sort of thing. Other than that, I think what I'm going to do today is I've been thinking a lot about the future that I really want for myself and how I can work towards that, because I'm at that point where I'm feeling quite stagnant. I'm not really feeling like I'm doing a whole lot at the moment, still recovering with my knee and still having to sit a lot of the day, just have my knee raised and recover and heal. So it'd be nice to feel like I'm contributing to my life in some way still, now that I'm feeling a little bit better, a little bit more energetic, and I can mobilize quite a lot more than I was able to a few weeks ago, to paint a little bit of a picture of the life that I want to manifest and document through YouTube, so that I can look back and see how I got to where I am and be able to share that journey with other people. Is this, I guess you could say, homestead, where we've got quite a bit of land, acreage, and we grow a lot of our own produce and food. We're able to create a life in which we are the most sustainable that we can be in today's day and age. So that's making a lot of food from scratch, canning, fermenting, preserving. I want to make steps towards that goal. I guess I want a cottagecore feel to that, because that's what I really love. I love surrounding myself with more natural elements if possible. Not having a lot of money at the moment, like we don't even own Christmas decorations. The only Christmas thing that I own is this homemade stocking that I believe my auntie made me quite a few years ago. And that's it. We do not, because you have to, everything costs money, right? I know I'm just having this rant about money, and I have this rant a lot. But I see a lot of YouTubers, they really glam the place up. They've got a lot of things that they spruce the place up with to make things more festive or in more of the theme of the year. And realistically, I think for a lot of people, we don't have that extra money and financial ability to spend money on those kinds of things, and yet we still want to celebrate these times. And that's what I'm hoping to sort of bring to you. Things that are a bit easier. The cats are going crazy. The things that are easier, more available, and I guess realistic as well, because not everyone has the time to do glamorous Christmas decorations and that sort of thing. We are going to glam the bookshelf. With this vision of the future I'm talking about, I'm going to try and manifest that, because there's a lot to learn in everything that I just talked about with regards to homesteading. There is a plethora of things that we'll have to learn. And so if I can learn some of those things now, I think it will help in the future. So one thing that I'm going to be doing today, which isn't Christmas themed, but I'm going to be marinating some olives. Because you know how you can buy marinated olives, or you can just buy like olives in the jar. So we have a really big jar of olives, and I'm going to transfer those into another jar with olive oil and sun-dried tomatoes, garlic. I think that's about it. Then I leave it in the fridge and it marinates after like a week or so. And you can just eat them, and they taste like those deli-bought delicious olives. And you can add whatever spices you'd like. I actually might put some chilies in this one. I'll see if I have any left in the freezer. And as always, with a new season means a new background for my phone and my PCs. And so I'll show you some clips. I did change my PC's backgrounds on my monitors. I changed them to a Christmas theme. Do you know how hard it was to find a Christmas theme that was not snowing? Because having Christmas in summer, there's just not a lot of things. I use Wallpaper Engine on Steam for my backgrounds because it has animated backgrounds, which I think are just really interesting and fun to look at. We do need to create like a summer mood board. So I'm gonna have to think of exactly what summer means to me because, you know, I'm thinking swimming and ice blocks. Oops, sorry, straps are falling down. Making fresh juice. Watching maybe some summer movies. At the moment, I'm trying some more Christmas movies because we're still mostly in that era. Also going to the beach. Now, some of these things I can't do quite yet just because of my knee. I am not swimming yet, but hopefully soon, I'd say probably in January, I will be most likely good to swim, and that's going to be where my exercise will be progressing to in the future. I used to do a lot of rock climbing, and it's probably not realistically something that I will ever go back to because of what happened with my knee. So I think the next thing will be swimming because it's a low impact sport. I don't like competitive sports. And I think that will work really well for me. wasn't that just a festive time? I'm really happy with my mood board and with the organization of said bookshelf. Look at them, aren't they cute? I also made this little bookmark thing, which I just thought there was too much plain red, so I wanted to break it up a little. But I really like it. On the topic of books and bookmarks, I have actually read quite a few books recently. I did finally read Fourth Wing, which I'm sure everybody else has read months ago by now, and also read Iron Flame. But I'm behind on the 8 ball on this one. Sorry guys. I haven't read Iron Flame yet, but I did read Fourth Wing and I actually loved it. I was expecting to not like it actually because I thought it would be very YA, but actually it felt a lot more polished than I thought it would be. I love dragons. There's a couple of tropes in it that are probably my favorite tropes, which includes like a magic academy or some kind of fantasy academy. Love that. And I really like dragons. Always have. Like when I was younger, I used to have this book where it had all the different types of dragons in it. And it was quite realistic illustrations and it was just so beautiful. I don't have that book anymore. I don't know what happened to it. There was a lot of commotion and stuff when I moved out. My dad moved out sort of around a similar time, and so I feel like so much stuff got lost somewhere. But I really like dragons, and these dragons were very interesting, and I liked that they weren't, I guess, slaves to the bond. That was really nice. They were very interesting to listen to. I also thought the character growth and the character arcs were done really well in that book. It just felt like I was on this journey with these characters the whole time. I think the length of it was actually really well done because I find a lot of the time with shorter books, particularly shorter YA books. Sorry, my camera battery died. What I was saying was that I find a lot of the time in shorter YA books, the characters feel sort of shallow and underdeveloped because they often just sort of follow a type of character, and then based on your prior knowledge of that type of character, you should kind of know them because there isn't enough time to fully flesh out a unique individual. That's not all YA, it's just I find it is a common theme among some YA books. But I actually really enjoyed the characters. I liked as well that Xaden wasn't a bumhole. So often I feel like the love interest that's meant to be a enemies to lovers is such a bad person in the first place, and they don't treat the main character properly and that sort of thing. Where I feel like Xaden was quite empowering towards Violet and had a lot of belief in her and gave her the space to grow, which I think is really important in relationships. The smut was really beautiful. I know beautiful is a weird way to describe smut. It wasn't really smut. There was sort of 1.5 sex scenes in the book, and I like that it wasn't overdone because sometimes it can just keep going and you're like, okay, it's lost its special touch of the connection of these two people. But I really appreciated all of it. It was just such an enjoyable book. I read it in 3 days. So I haven't started Iron Flame yet because I had to read my IRL book club book. So I have since read My Roommate is a Vampire, and I also read Fangs, and I am like nearly 70% through Fortunia Sworn at the moment. I'm not really enjoying Fortunia Sworn that much. It feels very tell rather than show. I think probably because it's a shorter book, maybe, and I think it's YA. I'm not sure because I haven't finished, so it depends. If they introduce more intimate scenes, then obviously that's not going to be in the YA category. Yeah, I don't know. It just feels a bit typical, like Faye, and like she's meant to be badass, but she kind of acts like, I don't know, like a coward half the time. And she's meant to be like tough. I don't know, it seems like they tell you a lot, like this character's like this, and then the character doesn't act according to what you've been told about them. And that always bothers me in books. I'm like, why not just write the character and write what they're doing rather than telling me who they are, because you get a better picture of a character when you see through their actions and their thoughts during those actions than you do someone just telling you this character is like this. So it's kind of it feels a bit cheap at this point, and it's not really hitting for me. It might hit for other people. It is a very fast read though, so I can give it that. The dialogue in it is also really bizarre. Anyway, this isn't meant to be a book review video. I'm just going on and on. My roommate is a vampire. I actually really liked this. It was just fun. And it was a comedy, and I think it recognized that it was sort of a silly, fun book. And so I felt like you couldn't really take it seriously or hold it to the same standard of morals of like logic in books, if that makes sense. There was a lot that didn't really add up in that book. You're like, wait, what about this? We didn't know about this. You didn't explain this. But I think it's not about the plot. It was sort of just about these two fun characters and their interactions and their relationship. I feel like I could overlook that because the book wasn't trying to be some super plot heavy, well thought out text. And then I read Fangs, which is a graphic novel. It's very, very short. Like, I think I read it in 20 minutes or 15 minutes. Like, it's really short. But it was so funny. I'll insert a couple of the pages. It's just so funny. It's about like just random snippets in the relationship between a werewolf and a vampire. And it's just so great. Kudos to the author. It's a fun time. So I definitely gave that 4 stars, and it was just a fun time. So to wrap it all up, I hope you guys have a really nice festive season, seeing friends, family, maybe you're decorating. That could be fun. I will see you in the next video. Bye, friends.